Hello and welcome back to my channel. Let's jump in and talk about what I have completed this week and what I will continue working on as we go through. So the first thing that I completed was this pant and vest outfit. This is an Easter outfit for my grandson. It is white with floral. I did the vest with some binding for the tie, and then the pants have little pockets in them so he can put little fun things. I don't know what he's going to put in them. He's 9 months old, but everybody needs some pockets. So the pants are the sage pattern, and then the vest is Tiny Couture, and I will link both of those down in the description box. And this Easter outfit does match some dresses I made last week for my granddaughters. Then I have this crocheted sweater vest. Not totally in love with this. I did self-draft this by looking at several other patterns and then just kind of winging it. I did have to frog it a few times to get it the way I semi-wanted it. Again, not totally in love with the armhole and the trim along the armhole. It might be a little bit too small, but overall, good bones to the pattern. I do think that I will probably play around with it a little bit more to do something different with the armholes and that little, it's not really a sleeve, but the over the shoulder section. Then I did finish one of the birthday crowns for the first upcoming birthday of the year. I just quilted this on the outside, and then I did add some pom-pom trim to the top since it was a little bit more on the plain side, since I didn't add any other embellishments to the crown itself. I did go ahead and add in the elastic at the back instead of a tie. I thought that would be easier for smaller kids than having ties and having to retie it multiple times. But the yellow pom-poms I thought kind of looked a little bit like balloons and made that a little bit more fun than just having the plain crown that was quilted. And then I have finally finished this romper and bloomer set. This has been on my sewing desk for multiple weeks, and I have finally got it completed. So I did make that center pattern. It's just the yoke dress and then a pair of bloomers that go under it. So the dress is a little bit on the shorter side so that the bloomers can poke out from underneath. And the bloomers are probably about knee length. They do have a little bit of elastic in the bottom of the leg so that you get a little bit of a ruffly appearance to them. And then the dress obviously is in that same mustard yellow teal fabric with a little bit of the yellow gingham for the yoke and sleeve. And then it does have a zipper closure in the back. And I did go ahead and use an invisible zipper on that so that it would not be too bulky and you hopefully don't see it too much when they're wearing the dress. The sleeves do have a little bit of elastic in them, again, so they're a little bit puffy and ruffly when they are worn. And then a couple of things I am working on. The first thing is going to be this little baby crocheted kimono sweater. That's going to be the style that ties on one side to the inside and then the other side to the outside. And it'll have some ribbing, it'll have some sleeves, and then it has, like I said, the ties that kind of make it a wrap style sweater. And this is for my newest grandbaby, so this is going to be a newborn size, so it will be nice and little. And then we have our Easter dresses, and these are made in the same fabric as the little pants and vest that I made earlier that were completed. So this is the Napoli Dress pattern. I did get this off Etsy. It worked up very quickly. At this point, the last thing I had to do on it was the buttonholes and to add the buttons. It has a couple of different sleeve options and two different yoke options, a more rounded yoke or a more v-neck yoke. I did do the more rounded yoke and I did the shorter sleeve option. Now the length of the dress was a little bit shorter than my daughter-in-law prefers for my granddaughter, so I did go ahead and add quite a bit of length. So this is typically per the pattern probably about mid-thigh if you made it on somebody, but I went ahead and made it so it's just a little bit past the knee for the two dresses that I made, and I did make this in two different sizes. And then we have the this is a birthday dress for my granddaughter in this super cute pink gingham. And then there, it's a linen fabric, so it's very breathable and lightweight. And I did go ahead and get some of that pink color in a solid to use for some of the lining fabric for this dress. This is a very, very princessy, flowy, long, gathered ruffles, ribbons and bows type dress. It does have a corset top. The corset is in the back and it ties up very neatly, and it's very, very just princessy and girly. So I did get this pattern off Etsy as well. This is, I believe it's called the Bella dress or the Bella pattern. And again, this will work up pretty easily. There's not a lot of pieces to it for as fancy of a dress that it ends up looking like. It was relatively easy to put together. I was very surprised on how few actual pattern pieces there were and how quickly the pattern pieces worked up while I was making it. Because it does, when you look at the dress itself, it does look like it is, like it would be very time consuming. And so those are all of the things that I completed this last week. Again, I have the dress with the romper, the sweater vest, the pants and vest, and the birthday crown. And so that is all of it. Was a light week. I had a lot of other things going on, so I didn't get a lot of things accomplished. Most of these things were already on my cutting table and had the pieces cut out and were just kind of on my list for the last couple of weeks. But I was able to get them all completed and get them taken care of. So although it was only 4 items that were completed, I was very happy to get them done and get them ready to give out for Easter and for birthdays that are coming up in the next couple of weeks. And this is future me coming in to show you that I did go ahead and get this little kimono sweater completed. This is my favorite type of sweater for newborns and little tiny babies. It just seems like it's super easy to get on them and a little bit adjustable with the ties. And then this is the Bella dress completed. And as you can see, it has little ties on the sleeves. Those are faux ties. And we have the corset back that laces up nice and tight, so it's just like a closed back. The fit on this was perfect. Sizing was spot on. We have the ruffly bottom. And overall, I was super happy with how this dress turned out. I definitely will make it again if I ever need a fancy dress for a little one. And then we have the Napoli dresses with the buttons. I did end up getting those on as well. So I did the buttons in 2 different colors for each of my granddaughters. It worked up super nice. It's a super simple pattern. Definitely recommend. I really liked how these turned out for their Easter dresses. And so that is what I have for the week, what I've gotten completed. So if this is something that interests you, I would ask that you go ahead and subscribe, comment down below, and let me know which of these that you liked the best. And I will put all the pattern names of everything that I worked on down in the description box below in case you want to go ahead and make one of these dresses or outfits for one of your little ones. So thank you, and we'll see you next time. And then future me popping back in, I did go ahead and complete the kimono sweater. So this is what it looks like all finished and ready for tiny babies. I love these little kimono sweaters for newborns. I think they just fit really well. They're easy to put on. And then we also have the Bella dress. It's all done. It's ready to be worn. It has the cute little tie bow sleeves. That is a faux tie on there. And then the little corset back, it does tie up so that it's basically a closed back. And then we have the very ruffly bottom. And again, this is just a super flowy and poofy princessy dress. I would say the sizing is spot on. If I was hoping for a 5T fit, and that's what I got. And then here are the Napoli dresses with the buttons done up on them. I did 2 different colors. One, the blue for my older granddaughter, and then like a creamy white, kind of like a pale yellow for my younger granddaughter on these dresses. And they worked up so quickly. I think it took me just as long to sew on the buttons as it did to create the whole rest of the dress. So I was super happy with the way those turned out, and I will definitely be using that pattern again for some spring and summer dresses. It worked up so quickly. You could definitely do that in an evening, or if you wanted to make a couple in an afternoon. So that is everything that I got done and was working on over this last kind of week and a half. And so if this is something that interests you, please subscribe, and we'll see you next time.